Hi there and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mike and I'm here excited to share another Divi tutorial with you. My goal here is to make learning Divi as straightforward as possible. So today we're going to look at how we're calling it mastering the post slider, but we're really going to look at how we can manipulate the post slider that Divi gives us by default into something a little bit more practical, if I can call it that way. So let's have a look at what we're going to have a build out today. Over here we have a default view. This is like if you put the post slider on and you just set it up, this is what you're going to get. And if you scroll through it, it looks quite cool, but in my view, it's a little bit dated. All right. So if we scroll down, you can see here we have something that's a bit more updated. It's a bit more, how should we say, modern, a bit more practical, but more like what you would see on websites nowadays. So if you look at this, it's a common design that's being used in many of the websites. You can see like here they're using it, and this is the one where we're getting the inspiration from. So it's working a bit slow, but here we go. That's really what we're looking to build out today. Okay, so let's close that one off and let's jump into a post that I have on my website, and it's called Mastering the Post Slider Part 1, because I want to try and do a series where we can draw inspiration from different sites all around online. So let me know in the comments if there's a particular post slider that you would like to see, if we can recreate that in Divi, and I'll be happy to give it a go. All right, so if you come, I'll put this in the description below, but if you come to this article, you'll see that it runs through everything that you need to do, and it's going to tell you again steps that you need to cover. All right, so we're going to jump into this. Because we're going to need custom CSS code in order to achieve this, and it's quite a long one, so we'll see how we go, but let's give it a go. All right, so we're going to be making use of the elegant icon font. You can have a look at this if you need, but we're really just going to make use of two of these fonts or icon, and that's going to be these two over here, and that's going to give us the controls to scroll through the different blog posts. Okay, so I'll walk you through that as we go ahead in this post. Okay, so if you're ready to go, just hit that like button and let me know. All right, let's go for it. We're going to jump into Divi, and we're just going to create a new page. What am I doing? Add a page. So we're going to add it. I like to add in new tabs so I can go between quicker. All right, so I'm going to call this one Divi Post Slider Demo. Okay, I'm building this out in Divi 4, so just take note of that. If you are working in Divi 5, there might be some changes here or there, but this one is working in Divi 4. Okay, so I'm going to use the Divi Builder. Once that opens up, it's going to give me the options here. Build from scratch, pre-made layout, or build with AI. We want to build from scratch. Okay, once this is open, what we're going to need to do is we're going to add in a row. And then obviously once that is done, we're going to add in our post slider. So just come down and click on that one over there. Okay, and there we have it. Our beautiful post slider is done. All right, thanks for joining, and we'll see you in the next tutorial. Not so fast. All right, so the first things we want to do is we want to have a look at our post count. How many blog posts do you want to have that you can sift through over here? So I'm just going to set this to 5. If you put a different number, there are some changes you need to make the CSS code that I'll show you a bit later. All right, you can select if you only want certain categories. These are the ones that I have. I'm just going to say all categories. And then you can run through all the other stuff that we have here if you really want to. But I'm just going to make a few changes. One is I don't want to show these controls on the side here. I want to take those away. Then I also want to change my background color, and I want to change that to white. I want to change my text over here from light to dark. Okay, so nice dark text. I also want to make sure my featured image is set to the left, not to the background. So that's going to push it over here. And that's going to give us almost the look and feel that we're looking for already. Okay. Also want to make sure if I go to design, overlay, I don't want to use this background overlay. I want it to be clean. And I think that might be it for the general stuff. So let's go and look at the font. So for title text, I want to set this to Nanito is the one I used. And obviously we want to make that bold because nice strong title. And then the body font, set this one to Later. And I want to push this up to 16. Okay, so let's push it up to 16. Then we want to change this button out. So we're going to have to do some changing the button over here, use the custom styles. All right, so the text we want to put down to about 14, nice and small. Okay, there we go. The button text color, I want to change this to 666, 666. There we go. All right, bring the button border width 1 down. And I also want to make sure I don't have any rounded corners. You can keep the rounded corners if you want, but I just find the Scandinavian ones that I've looked at usually have quite square corners, if I can put it that way. Okay, then the button font, we also want to make Later. Okay. So once that's all done, you can also come in and change the elements. Show post meta, you can take that away if you want. Okay, I'm going to take it away. I don't think I took it away on the example, but I'm going to take it away here. And then I'm going to save this. No, not yet. The next thing I want to do is I want to go into my advanced and I want to go add in a CSS ID. So in this CSS ID, if we go back to the article, I wrote it here as classes, but it's actually a CSS ID. Okay, so I must make that change. Hopefully by the time you're watching this video, it'll be a CSS ID. Okay, so we come back to our over here and we just put that in over there. Okay, and we can save that. All right, once that's done, you can save and you can publish or you can just save draft, up to you. All right, exit over here. And what I want to do now is go back to the article. And in the article, I want to take all of this code, every single one, a bit of it. It's quite a lot. And I want to copy this code and come into my theme options. So it's if you're in Divi, or if you're in WordPress background, you just go to Divi theme options, and then under theme options, everything's general, and you just scroll down to the bottom and you'll see the custom CSS. I like to add it in over here because it centralizes my CSS, so that if later on, if I need to make any changes to my CSS, I only need to come here. The other place that I can recommend that you can do this is do it in a child theme and put that into your style.css file. Then it keeps it nice and centrally located. I know some people, what they'll do is in here, they'll add a code module and then they'll just add the CSS code in there. Works 100% fine. It's just that when you want to come back and make changes to your website at a later time, you might find that changes that you're putting into your theme options or into your style.css child theme is correct as you're putting it in, but it's being overridden by code that you don't know where this code is. And ultimately you find out, oh, on this page, there's a code module in here and that has styling. So it's very, I don't know, for me, I find it's better practice. Just find a central location, whichever works for you, whether it's this custom CSS over here or whether it's a child theme. I do have a video on how to do child themes, and I'll just link to that in the top right hand corner. Okay, so after all that, let's just paste this in. Right, So once I've pasted this all in, all I need to do is I hit Save Changes. And now if I go to the front end and I refresh this, there we go. That's all we wanted. Okay, if we scroll through it, there they all come out. Quite a cool effect. Okay, now I did mention that if you want to change the amount of images that you put in there, you need to make a few changes. And those few changes is basically here. All right, this section over here. You can see here it says 1 of 5, 2 of 5, and so on and so on and so on. So if you want to add in another line, just copy this last line or however many you want to add in and just paste it. All right, once you've pasted it in, then you just change these over here, obviously, because then it'll be, what is it, 7? Because I copied 2 instead of 1. It'll be, all of these will be like 1 of 7, 2 of 7, 3 of 7. And then over here will be 6 of 7 and 7 of 7. And then just remember also to change these over here. So it's going up to 5. You just put 6 and 7. And then it should work fine. Okay. The other thing that I just want to point out to you is, remember I said that in the elegant icon font over here, we're using these two icons. All right. So in the CSS itself, you can see that's being called over here. The font family is the ET modules, and then the before we're using the 34, and the after is, or the goes right forward is 35 and go backwards is 34. And if you look at the icons, you'll see that they reflect that. There's 35 and there's 34. So if you want to change to any other icon, maybe you want to use the double arrows instead of the single. I don't think they're called arrows, but whatever they're called. If you want to change the double, then you just put in the 39 instead of the 35. Let's see how that works, just so that you can see it in practice. So it is 38 and 39. So I'm just going to go back here, and I'm just going to change this one to 38 and this one to 39. And let's hit Save Changes. And let's go see the front end on this. And you can see there it's changed the icons for you. Okay, so you can go and you can use any icons you want. If you want to use the ones with the circles, you want to use this ones over here with more shaded in, whatever it is, you can just go crazy on these. You can even use the arrows over here too. All of these can work fine for you if you want to follow this particular kind of design. Okay, and that is it. If we go back to the article, that's it. That's all you need to do in order to create quite a cool post slider effect. Well, not effect, but template design for you to make use of in your actual website designs. I hope that this is useful for you, and that you'll be able to use this quite easily in projects going forward. And if you do, please do come back and share it with us here so that we can all go and see how you used it and we can learn from each other. Right. If this tutorial really helped you and you know somebody else that might be a benefit to this, do share it with them, but also do hit the like button below. That really helps to motivate me to create more content. Speaking of creating more content, I'm still going to be sharing more of these tutorials as I learn more about Divi. So be sure to subscribe to join me on this journey and ensure you don't miss out on what's coming next. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.